It's Wednesday, September 17th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented to you by FanDuel. We have a great show today. I'm your host here, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer, Jacob Gramenya. Great show we got for you today. We have Mr. Peanut Bettor coming on. We're going to take a look at some college football stuff, take a look at the landscape right now, talk ACC, SEC, a little bit about the Big 12, just kind of move around all over the place. We'll get into a couple games heading into week 4 as well. Maybe talk some Heisman stuff if there is enough time. But yeah, and then we have, of course, So Money coming on. We're going to be taking a look at some MLB stuff. So people were clamoring for So Money yesterday. They were a little bothered when they saw Moretto pop up on screen. They said, where the heck is So Money? We're like, all right, guys, listen, we heard you. We heard you. So we're bringing So Money back. We're bringing him on. He's going to be talking about some MLB playoff stuff, World Series, things of that nature. So if you have any MLB college football questions, don't be afraid to drop them in the chat. Cloudy Lemon Drop, hey, Al, I see you. And then finally, Kirk Evans is coming in, talking WNBA stuff, NBA futures look as well. We have 2 WNBA games tonight. There were 2 last night. Both those games, the team that was down in the series won. So it's an interesting game 3.
Big game 3 is coming up.
Yeah,
3-game series.
We'll see. We'll see if the Liberty and the Lynx can win and close out the series tonight. I mean, Jacob, you love the NBA. You love NBA stuff. Are you looking forward to talk to NBA today? Is this like something that you're looking forward to? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah. NBA almost here. We're just over a month away. When we bring it back on shows like this, I'm fired up.
Yeah.
Of course I am.
Do you bet preseason NBA stuff, or are you not really into that? Like, does the NBA season start for you when, like, the actual NBA betting season start for you when the NBA starts?
No, preseason I don't mind betting on. It
depends on the numbers, obviously.
Yeah, I'm just doing top-down stuff, so it's not like it doesn't really matter what the event is, really.
Okay.
If anything, it could be sometimes a bit easier in preseason.
Yeah. Do you watch WNBA or no?
WNBA, I do not watch. To put it bluntly, I don't really have a lot of extra free time, so I can't. There's no other sports that could possibly fill up my mind. I'm maxed out, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I tried to watch a little bit this summer, but it's like kind of hard to get around to it. Like, I was trying to watch Caitlin Clark when she was on air, and
I like. It's not that I don't like it. It's like college football. I like college football. I don't watch college football because I cannot fill up more sports. Like Saturday is already soccer. A lot of the time there's darts. Sunday there's NFL. There's soccer. Like there's just and then at nights there's just so many other sports on. It's just tough. If it's on, I'll watch it. Like if I'm with some friends, I'll put it on WNBA. But unfortunately, I'm not seeking it out.
Yeah, for me right now, it's like the hole that fills my Tuesday and Wednesday pause. But yeah, it's just I need something to bet on and rely on in this Tuesday, Wednesday of just nothingness. This is what I miss about having the NBA and the NHL in season. It's like during football season, during college football season, these 2 days are like the most empty days, it feels like. So it feels like a weekend. Feels like a Sunday morning right now in terms of a summer, but
it feels like Sunday morning. How tired I am.
Yeah, where were you? You went out last night. What are you doing? We have to work today. So do you go out on a Tuesday every week, or what's going on here?
Not every week, but when it's a friend's birthday, you do have to go out and celebrate a little bit.
All right,
not too crazy though.
Sounds like you had a good time. Also, I saw in our Discord earlier you were mentioning some darts. So people were looking for you to release a darts play. Did you end up doing that?
Were they? I didn't see that in the Discord.
It was in the chat yesterday saying when's the dart release for the
that was in the chat yesterday.
Hungarian Open.
They were joking, I'm pretty sure, but the Hungarian Super League is coming up in October. The winner qualifies, I believe, for the PDC World Championship. So it is a very important event for the players involved.
Are there multiple leagues in darts? I'm so confused right now. I thought it was a single tournament thing, kind of like golf.
Yeah, but there's small tournaments here and there in different regions. There's Asia. It's an Asian tour. There's a North American tour. There's a Northern Baltic tour. I think that's what it's called. Then there's other little tournaments that happen for qualification, like the Hungarian Super League, where the winner goes to the World Championships.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to that release in the Discord then. And speaking of our Discord, we know that the Hammer audience is truly like a family. We have familiar faces, inside jokes, and that one guy that everyone likes to pick on. Well, here's your chance to continue the conversation. Join our new Hammer Discord. That's discord.gg/the Hammer. You can join. It's a chance to discuss all the games, all the news, share some of your favorite bets, and interact with us over at the Hammer. Again, discord.gg/Hammer to join right now. It is pinned in the chat if you haven't joined yet. I recommend you do so because I'm going to be giving out, not giving out, I'm not a tout, but I'm just going to be sharing what I'm playing, some of my parlays. And if you're a sharp bettor out there, I think that's going to add a ton of value to your account because I call those account health parlays, those random 60-1 darts that probably lose. But it's I think it's the best thing you can do is just throw out just garbage for your account health. And speaking of garbage, our next guest coming up is going to be providing us with a ton of account health value as well because he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. No, I'm kidding. Mr. Peanut Bettor. He is a college football bettor. He loves his niche markets. Let's bring him on up. I'm kidding, Mike. Sorry, I didn't mean to go too hard on you about being square there.
No offense taken.
All right, and I see in your little header there, it says you're a Taylor Swift lover. Is that true, or is that?
That wasn't made by me, but I will say, actually in high school, I did have, we had to create a web page for either some kind of celebrity, and I chose Taylor Swift. And, this is back in the country music days. So many would say I was the earliest of gambling Twitter on the Taylor Swift bandwagon. So
just like your niche entertainment market expertise, you're proving that you're always ahead of the curve here. But let's flip over. Let's talk some college football. Let's talk about some teams that might be on the outskirts of the playoffs already. Notre Dame loses to Texas A&M in a heartbreaking loss. Now 2 losses. Clemson as well with their incredibly flaccid offense, lose to Georgia Tech. Now they're also at 2 losses. Have both of these teams effectively eliminated themselves from playoff contention this early in the season?
I don't think so. Last year, we had kind of an outlier, what I think, in terms of the teams that were able to make the playoffs. That was a harder year than it would have been if you look back historically over the past 10 years, what it would have taken to be in the rankings where you got into the playoffs. I think last year kind of was the outlier, and that from moving forward, you can expect a little bit easier, bottom line to clear for these teams. The question is, can these teams go undefeated the rest of the way? With Clemson, it certainly seems like it's up in the air. They haven't looked great so far, but they wouldn't be the first college team to turn it around. Notre Dame has a pretty easy schedule. The only real opponent they have left is USC. With a 10-2 record, would those teams make it in? Right now, it looks like no, if you kind of project it out, but there's always chaos in college football. I think that those teams, if they go undefeated the rest of the way, still have a pretty good chance of getting in.
All right, so we're going to need them to go undefeated for their path to make that playoffs. Both teams were expecting, or we were relatively expecting them to make the playoffs in the preseason here. And speaking of Clemson, let's flip over and talk some ACC. We talked a little bit about last week about how open the conference kind of is. Clemson loses in conference to Georgia Tech. How do you feel the ACC shakes out now with that 0-1 start for Clemson?
Right now, if you just look at the rest of the schedule for Georgia Tech, it's hard to see a loss on there. Obviously, they're not an elite team to the ability that you can expect them to be a 2-score favorite in any game they play. So there are chances for them to slip up along the way, but the schedule sets up pretty favorable for them to at least make the ACC championship game. Of course, you have a head-to-head tiebreaker with the team that probably is most likely to finish with 1 loss beside them, and that's Clemson. So I think that Georgia Tech is set up pretty well. Miami is clearly the best team in the conference. They don't play Clemson the rest of the way, which before looked like a big benefit. Now, maybe not as much so. They do have to go to Tallahassee to face Florida State. So that will be a huge game for them. But I think that Georgia Tech right now is set up with a schedule kind of relative to what you would expect of these teams, that they have a sneaky good chance of at least getting to the title game. And then, with Haynes King, anything is possible.
Yeah, all right. Well, I want to stick with ACC here and just talk a little bit about guys further down the board. Miami, Florida, like you mentioned there, plus 155. Georgia Tech, plus 370. Clemson all the way down, plus 650. But I want to keep moving back towards the back of the board here. I want to look at Cal, 27-1 here. Now, you told me you don't really like them. You feel like the talent level isn't there. But could they potentially be a dark horse? They have a relatively easy conference schedule. Their toughest team, I believe, is I think it was SMU on their conference schedule. And then also this kid, Sega Pulatella. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He looks to be a complete electric factory. I've been watching highlights of him. He looks like a lot of fun to watch. So could he maybe propel this Cal team that doesn't have great talent to maybe like a conference final? Is that in the cards here? 27-1 dark horse. What are your thoughts?
I don't think so. They just don't have the talent level kind of up and down the roster. In my opinion, they had a lot of guys leaving the portal. Their wins so far this season have been Oregon State, which looks like a shell of a program right now. Minnesota, who I don't know what we're getting from them. 27-14. They won that in the later part of the game. They were down 14-7 for a good majority of it. This new kid is a stud. I thought that when Devin Brown lost a starting job, it was going to be a situation where they were throwing a freshman into the fire. Turns out this kid won it. He's been great for them. He raises their ceiling. But just to go throughout the conference schedule unscathed, I think is pretty unlikely. They still have Duke, North Carolina. They do have both those games at home. They have to go to Boston College, which I don't think is easy. And then they have SMU at home to end the season. So their schedule does line up favorably. I just think to go, that's a lot of weeks where they're going to be single-digit favorites or slight underdogs to go undefeated. So, yeah, you're basically hoping to roll the right dice, multiple times there. But so they do have a path. I just don't think that to be perfect week in, week out, you have to have a baseline talent level, which I don't think they get to.
All right, fair enough here. And if anyone has played craps with you, they know how good you are at rolling the right dice every single time. Let's flip over and talk SEC conference here. We talked it again last week. These are the two conferences we talked about. And again, it's even more open than last week. Of course, Georgia with their win over Tennessee. They're 3-1 right now. There's four teams kind of at the top of the board. Georgia, like I mentioned, 3-1. Texas, 3-1. Alabama, 5-1. LSU, 5-1 to win. Plus 550 for Alabama and LSU respectively. Break down this conference for me. Where do you see the SEC going right now after heading into week 4?
Yeah, I think that Texas's, quarterback issues at the moment really loom large as far as the conference odds and who is most likely to win the title. Conference had a very favorable schedule going into the season for one of the best teams. They looked like the odds-on favorite to win the conference. Now you have a situation where Alabama, after struggling in week 1, looks much better. I think that was more about Florida State than it was Alabama. I think they were a very good team. Going into Tallahassee, there was some rain. It's obviously the first game of the season, so you're throwing a freshman into that fire. I think Alabama has the chance to improve more than perhaps any team in this conference. So I think that they're pretty good. Oklahoma is another team that I would call a sleeper for the conference. They do have a tough schedule the rest of the way, but they've shown both the defense and now what they have with Mateer on offense that they could be a sleeper in the conference, especially with Texas no longer looking like the kind of powerhouse that they once were. That schedule looks a little bit easier than it did before. They still have to go to Tennessee, to Alabama, but one loss is probably going to get you in. They face LSU at home to end the season. That could be a big game for conference purposes. All
right, I just have a question for you sticking within this conference. Why is Texas 3-1 right now? I look at that, it just doesn't really make sense to me. Listen, I'm not the sharpest college football guy out there, but just with the struggles of Arch Manning, I just don't see how their path to winning this conference. Is it because of an easy schedule? Am I just way too low on Arch Manning? What's the deal here?
Sure. So they have a very favorable schedule lining up, and they have perhaps the best defense in the country.
Okay.
That defense is going to carry them in a lot of games. They don't have a particularly hard schedule coming up. They have the Red River rivalry with Oklahoma, of course, and then they have at Georgia. But those are really the only two games where I project them to be a dog in the rest of the season. Or Oklahoma, we'll see. It's still up for debate. But those are the two games that will be, within a field goal, I would say, either way for them this season. But I think that Texas has a very favorable schedule. They have a defense that is perhaps the best in the country. And with Arch, it's obviously still there in him. He just has to figure it out. Can he do that? I don't know. But he has a while to do it just based on this defense. They'll give him a shot to kind of find his feet. And if he can do it, they are looking like still one of the best teams in the country. They came into the season number 1 ranked overall. You don't want to overreact to 3 games, but at the same time, he's also also look terrible. I'm not a fan of the current number. It would take a much higher number for me to get in on them. I'm lower on Texas this year. I have been kind of all season, but the argument for them is great defense and a quarterback who can still figure it out.
Okay, that's a good case. I guess that makes a little bit more sense. And of course, tons of juice added to that number in kind of any outright market like that. Let's take a step back. You were talking about Texas as them heading into the season. They were one of the best teams in the country. Now, obviously, they're not. They've taken a step back. So who do you think is the best team in the country right now?
Really, you can debate three teams that I think have a case for number one. Oregon's looked the best so far this season. Ohio State has the team that's returning from a national championship and has the most talent probably on roster. And Penn State has the most returning experience and also a team that has accomplished quite a bit throughout their time at Penn State. So there's three different teams. It really all depends on what you value. You know, do you value performance year to date? Do you value most just talent on roster? Do you really value a roster that's been there through everything? I kind of lean right now towards Ohio State. I would give the benefit of the doubt to the more talented roster. Between them and Penn State hasn't looked great so far this season. There's also a chance they're playing pretty vanilla. Those two would be my two picks right now for the best team in the country. But I think it's interesting that all three happen to come from the Big Ten, and we'll probably see two in the Big Ten championship. And the other will get a week off, similar to Ohio State did last year, to get ready for the playoffs.
You think that'll benefit that one team it sounds like you think that'll benefit that one team that doesn't make that conference game?
I think having the bye in the playoffs is the most valuable. So if you're able to win that game in the conference championship, that's the biggest advantage to you. But I certainly think that losing the conference championship is more of a punishment than if you get to sit the week out.
It's funny how that way that things work out there. All right, let's talk Big 12 here. Two pretty key games for the conference. Arizona State at Baylor, Utah at Texas, both under a field goal right now. Break down these two games for me. Just talk me through them here.
Sure. Texas Tech is similar to Oregon in the fact that they've looked awesome to start the season, but there are questions about who they've played and kind of what they represent. Texas Tech really hasn't played anyone. And Utah, it looked like at the beginning of the season had what would be a pretty reasonable schedule. Also, that schedule looks a little bit lighter now that UCLA kind of isn't up to what we thought they would be this season, kind of to say the least there. So I think that both these teams are pretty unproven. Utah last year had a really up and down season with the quarterback struggles and not knowing if Cam Rising was or wasn't going to play. They appear to have found their guy in Devin Dampier. I think that they, especially at home, will be the favorite versus Texas Tech. Tech paid for a lot of transfers to come in this season, and they have a very talented roster. They have a quarterback that will likely be an NFL draft pick. So those two, to me, are kind of the front runners for the Big 12 conference. Whoever wins this game will be in, pretty good odds to make the conference championship game. I would say odds on, at least. And then, Baylor, SMU, or Baylor is another team that, sorry, could you remind me of the second?
Arizona State and Baylor, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
Messed up SMU. But, Arizona State is another team that they lost that game to Mississippi State. A lot of people kind of were, at least I was, questioning what they had kind of coming back that season. But the Big 12 is another beast. It's a little bit easier than any SEC opponent you're going to face in terms of just, athletes on the field. And last year, they kind of made their living being more physical than teams. So if they can kind of get back, get their first win here in the Big 12 conference, that probably puts them in second place in order to win the conference. And Baylor is a kid with Sawyer at quarterback, Sawyer Robertson. Mm-hmm. I think that he might be the best quarterback in the conference and is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So really, I think that the winners of these two games will be set up to be the favorites to win the Big 12 by the end of the week.
All right. Gun to your head right now, the Texas Tech and Utah game. The only 2.5 I see on the board right now is at FanDuel, slight juice minus 122 towards Utah. Would you want to be capturing that 2.5 on Utah right now if I force you to pick either side? Because, listen, if you want to bet it and you want to get that 2.5, you can get it at FanDuel, and I don't see anywhere else where you can get it. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I like Utah in the game. I think that Utah, especially at home, that's at altitude, that's a tough place to play. They've been dominant along the lines of scrimmage. I think that Utah probably would be the way that I would lean right now. I would be pretty surprised if it doesn't close at 3 or better around the market. So, yeah, if you can get the 2.5 in, if that's the side you like, I don't think you'll get a better price than right now.
All right, appreciate that. Company man, Mr. Peanut Bettor, a.k.a. Mike. Mike, I appreciate you coming on. We weren't able to talk Heisman Talk this week. Maybe we'll try again next week. Talk soon.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right. See ya, Mike. All right. That was Mr. Peanut Bettor. Go follow him on Twitter at Mr_Peanut Bettor. Before we get into our next topic here, sorry, chat. I haven't been keeping up with the chat. Seems like Connor Hartle really likes Dampier for the Heisman after he whips up on Texas Tech on Saturday. My bad, chat. I'll keep an eye on you guys. Don't worry about it. But yeah, crazy that FanDuel has by far the best price in market on that game, keeping that 2.5 nice and wide open. And guess what? The NFL is back on FanDuel. And if you're betting it, FanDuel is the place to go this season. Here's some things to keep in mind, though, when you're betting. Number one, always celebrate your wins. Whether your same game parlay has 2 legs or 10 legs, always use your legs to celebrate appropriately. Number two, no kickoff, no problem. Live betting means that the next play could be your play. And then number 3, if you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. And now you're ready to play your game on FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to download the app today and get started. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, and 18 plus and present in DC, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. Up next, we got So Money coming on, and I see a lot of hashtag save Edgeworks in the chat. One's in the chat for So Money. He's a tortured Canucks fan. He's a bettor. And as he likes to say, we are all Blue Jays. So Money, what's going on, man? How's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
how you doing?
Appreciate you. No, I'm doing great. A lot of people were really pissed off yesterday when they saw Moretto come on instead of you. They're like, what the heck's going on? Where's So Money? So we have to...
I mean, I don't blame them for that. I'd be pissed off too seeing Moretto coming on.
Exactly. They're like, where is this guy? We need him on. And you know what? We listen to the people, as we always do here on the show. Okay, let's start. We're going to be talking some MLB stuff here. Let's take a couple steps back to, I think it was almost 3 weeks ago now. We had our FanDuel Futures Day here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. A bunch of creators came on, gave out some futures picks. And your pick, shockingly, when I saw the sheet, was not an NHL bet. It was an MLB bet. It was an MLB future. And it was the Cubs to win the World Series. I believe you gave it out at 14-1, so it's still at 14-1 right now. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. But let's take a step back. Let's recap. How are we feeling about that handicap going in with only, I think, almost 13 days left in the MLB season?
I feel great about it. I think that sometimes it's good when your bet is not moving. Yeah. It's good sometimes for it not to get so much notoriety. I like that the Cubs are still flying under the radar. They're just seen as like an afterthought right now, which is great. That's the way that I would prefer it to be. So it's still 14-1. I feel great about it. I wouldn't change anything, and I still really like the Cubs and the Blue Jays, of course.
Of course, there we go. You heard So Money. If he likes the Cubs, and we are all Cubs. We are all Blue Jays. Let's talk over let's keep up those World Series odds. Flip over, talk World Series. Pretty open year this year, like you said. Let's start with the AL though. Top 3 teams according to FanDuel right now are the Blue Jays, the Mariners, and the Tigers. I want you to make a case for each team to make the World Series, and then I want you to tell me what you feel like their biggest flaw is for each of these 3 teams.
So the case for the Blue Jays to make the World Series, offense, great contact team, really hard to get outs out of them up and down the lineup. If they continue that, which there's no reason to think that they won't, I don't see that changing. The case for the Mariners, pitching a lot of times carries them. I worry about their inconsistency of offensively. Sometimes we're not seeing it right now, but throughout the season, we do see that sometimes. Tigers, I view similar to the Cubs. They're kind of under the radar, seen as a bit of an afterthought. But I think that the Tigers are a well-rounded team. What worries me about them sometimes is that they do go through offensive struggles sometimes. The thing that holds me back with the Blue Jays, what I worry about them, and it's no secret, we've talked about that. It's their bullpen. Now the antidote to a weak bullpen is having your starters go 6 or 7 innings every game. So the Blue Jays are starting to get that now. Their starting pitching has really stepped up. So I do like the Blue Jays as an all-around team, but those are the cases for the 3 teams and what would be a cause for concern.
All right, quickly, just want to touch on the Blue Jays here because we just saw Trey Yesavage come in and look like an absolute freaking stud. Why are we not throwing him in the bullpen for the playoffs? Like that seems like the solution as well, along with the pitching, just kind of the starters playing a little bit better. Do you feel like that might happen here?
I think that we need to see a little bit more. Everything has been established going into the playoffs. It's really difficult to just have a kid after one start and just throw him into the bullpen and say, just go take the reins now, right? Yeah. So, I think that if he continues like this, I think that we will see more of him. I hope we do, but I think that it's too early to make that call right now, I would say.
All right, that's fair, and like I said, we have like 13 days left in the season, so we really got to figure that out fast. And he was crazy. He was one pitch away from an immaculate inning, and it was a bad ball call there from the ump. But yeah, he seems to be an absolute stud for the Blue Jays. Flip over, talk NL. Top 3 teams are the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Brewers, according to the World Series odds. Phillies plus 490, Dodgers plus 500, and then the Brewers plus 750. Same question here. Give me the case for them to make the World Series, and then what you think their biggest flaw is.
So the Brewers do everything well. It's hard to find a flaw in that team. They're a well-rounded team. Everything is great on their end. What I do worry about the Dodgers, again, the Dodgers are priced as if they should be a top tier team, which they are. I do worry about the Dodgers bullpen. There are times, and we've seen it in the last, even in the last couple of weeks, that they do have trouble sometimes getting the high leverage innings out of the way. So I do worry about the Dodgers. Same thing for the Phillies. It's the Phillies bullpen as well. It's gotten better throughout the year, but we know that the offense is there on the Phillies, but can they get through the tough 6th, 7th, and 8th innings? So that's something that I do worry about. Really hard for me to find a flaw in the Brewers right now. I've been thinking about it, but I just can't right now.
So if you had to pick one of those teams to make it to the finals, would that be your pick? Is the Brewers?
If we take out all the odds, then yes, I think the Brewers are the best all-around team. They should make the World Series, but they're also priced as such as well.
Of course, yeah. Both those teams, all 3 of those teams, priced very closely together. You were interested in looking at a team to make the playoffs towards the back end. I believe it's the Diamondbacks. They're out right now. They're currently out of a spot, but they can fight their way in down the stretch. What makes you so interested in seeing them make the playoffs?
It's more so what's around them right now. So the Mets will probably make the playoffs. They're priced accordingly. But there's a Diamondbacks team. They're 1.5 games back. They have a bunch of home games coming up. They there's no reason for and they have that swagger with the with like the young kids. So like, there's no reason for me to think that that's not going to continue. It's just one of those things where you see sometimes in sports, like the young team just comes out of nowhere just because they don't know any better, right? They haven't learned that they're not supposed to be here right now. So they have a lot of energy in that young lineup. I like the way that they're being managed. The Mets have shown a propensity for blowing it late. We've seen that for a few years now. So there's no reason for me to think that at a price of plus 680, I believe, on FanDuel right now, that that there's no that the that that there's value on the D-backs right now. The cause for concern would be their schedule. I believe they have the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Padres coming up. So that's a difficult schedule, but sometimes a difficult schedule in terms of your opponent, it does work in your favor because you're going into every game with the mindset that we need to bring it tonight. So and again, it's a Diamondbacks team that just probably doesn't know any better. They're not supposed to be here. So I like that. I like that element of it, and that plus 680 being 1.5 games back. I just think it's too it's too long right now.
Yeah, and I think both both those teams, the Dodgers and the Phillies, obviously are jostling for position, so they're going to want to win some games. But you might get to a point where the Phillies maybe are up on the Dodgers too much, and the Dodgers kind of pack it in late in the season, or vice versa, and that could definitely help out the Diamondbacks here. Diamondbacks, again, like you said, plus 680 to make the playoffs. I want to flip over and kind of put you on the spot here, talk MVP discussion. All the awards markets are basically locked up. I did want to touch on one though. It's the race between essentially Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. I know a lot of people, a lot of Yankees fans really want Aaron Judge to win the MVP, but I see the gaudy home run numbers that Cal Raleigh's putting up. I understand that he's been kind of dwindling down the stretch here. Aaron Judge right now minus 900, Cal Raleigh plus 480. Do you think that there's still a chance that Raleigh could win this award, or is it like locked up for you at this point?
Yeah, it's locked up at this point. I don't think there's a chance that Raleigh's going to win. There's a few things that worked against him. I view this similar to what happened with Connor Bedard's Calder year, where he got hurt in the middle of the year. The odds started shortening, and then he just there was nobody around that could close the gap enough, and it was his at a short number. So I view Aaron Judge the same way. He got hurt in the middle of the season, and that kind of shortened the odds. I don't think that Raleigh at that time was a bad bet. I believe that there were some 9, 10 to 1s that I'm pretty sure people got, and that's fine. Like I think that was a good bet, but he didn't do enough in the time that Judge was out. I believe right after the All-Star break, he was hitting like 206 or something like that. So that he wasn't able to close the gap there, and then also the Yankees kind of after Judge came back. They kind of righted the ship a little bit as well. They started putting good games together, and they kind of got over their struggles. And you could equate that to Aaron Judge coming back. That would be the narrative of that. So it's going to be difficult for Raleigh in terms of numbers. Home run numbers are great. Can't take anything away from that, but overall numbers he lacks when compared to Judge, and also the Judge narrative is there. With the way that the Yankees played after he came back, and also I don't see a voter fatigue there either. So I think that it's pretty much wrapped up at this point.
All right, sounds good. Chad is telling me I'm wrong though, because I think I said that all the awards are basically decided. I missed out on one though, the National League Rookie of the Year award. Currently, right now, Cade Horton only minus 270, still pretty strong favorite here, but Drake Baldwin seems to be the runner-up. Any opinion here? Anything you like, or do you feel like this market is about right?
I think it's right. I thought that a couple of weeks ago there was some value in Baldwin, but I think Horton's done enough right now to be justified as the clear favorite right now.
All right. Sounds good. So Money, I appreciate you joining us today talking MLB. You can find So Money on Twitter at So Money Sports. One in the chat as he leaves. So Money, we'll talk soon. All right, see ya. All right, So Money. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff there. Appreciate So Money joining the show. Also, he will be back next week on today's Wednesday, on Tuesday to talk hockey, as we always do with our Tuesday show. We have one guy talking hockey. Don't worry, it won't be Moretto next week. It will be Mr. So Money Sports. I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to the MLB playoffs. I'm looking forward to the Jays. Maybe I can catch a couple playoff games there. Really, really nice when you live in a town that hasn't won anything and there's a little bit of hope at the end of the tunnel. I guess we won the Raptors won the championship in 2019.
Let's not forget about the 2019 championship.
Yeah, it's anything pre-COVID I kind of forgot about.
We can't be spoiled here. We won a championship in 2019.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cities who have suffered a lot more with championship success than Toronto.
Yeah, but like the main team is the one that's suffering. So like the Leafs.
Main team.
That is the number.
Well, they are. It's a little disrespectful to label them like that, but I guess they are.
They are like the lifeblood of the city, and it's painful. But anyways, I mean, things could be worse. Could be like Chicago, right?
Yep.
Right.
Could
I mean,
like
the Cubs won, but the Bears look terrible. Blackhawks are terrible.
Cleveland for a while.
Yeah.
It was brutal until the Cavs did it.
Yeah. Chicago though, tough city. Only upside for being in that city is that they have GRP living in their suburbs.
Point.
And for those of you who don't know, every Wednesday here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel, we have a video coming out with GRP. I, myself, and Jeff, we flew all the way to the suburbs of Chicago, which a lot of people were telling me. I thought we were in Chicago. Apparently, we weren't in Chicago. It's like Rosemont or something like that. I don't even know what it's called. But yeah, we followed GRP along for 48 hours. It was a lot of fun. And we have a little promo clip for you guys. If the promo clip is ready, throw it up.
Like I said, doesn't matter how it's going. Like at a certain time, all that's on your mind is breakfast.
That there's an hour window that is rough. Correct.
Like
6, 7 a.m.
You
correct.
almost acknowledge you can't play optimal cards because your mind is distracted by one of the breakfasts that we are going to experience here in the next through the morning.
Correct. Food is my kind of like a little bit of my love and my vice. Right. That's very true. And there's worse vices to have, but when I want to go somewhere to eat, I gotta go somewhere to eat, right?
Oh my gosh! All right, that was a great. I think this episode's gonna be covering some breakfast spots that we hit up.
Banger incoming.
It's a good one. I'm still bothered. I want to be able, even though I lived it, I still want the sneak preview. I want to see the episode before it goes live, but they don't let me do that. So reminder, live here on the no, it goes live. Excuse me, scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed and you want to watch that content, make sure you're subscribed. And when you subscribe, hit that notification bell as well, because then you'll be notified right when that video goes live and also right when we go live. Even though we're here every day of the week, Monday to Friday at noon Eastern, same start time every week, you still want that notification bell just in case, who knows, maybe you're in a meeting, you're like, hey guys, got lunch, come watch the show. And while you're here, do us a favor, haven't asked yet, so I'm going to ask you, smash that like button. Goes a long way for us here in the algorithm. Quickly, before we get into our next guest, did you see the news on Twitter about George?
Of course I saw the news on Twitter about George.
In a shocking reveal, George has retired from betting NFL sides and totals after going 0-5 to start the year. You got to think Adam Chernoff is in a corner somewhere just laughing his ass off after that.
Man, it's sad. He can't take the heat.
He can't
take the heat. He's getting out of the kitchen.
He's getting out of the. I still need him to track Kelly in Vegas though. Even though he got cooked, I still need him to track all these people. Like
all these years, calling people out, calling them losers, saying they're losing on their show. They don't track their picks. He didn't last 3 weeks betting the NFL, giving out picks. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, and that's the second biggest news, I think, from today on Gambling Tour, because the number one biggest news after that, George said he would sell his secret formula, which has led him to go 0-5. But hey, like bad variance, only 5 games. He would sell it for $250,000. So maybe we can do like a little pool of the Hammer Daily. We can, all the chat members, myself included, we can have exclusive access to GRP's formula. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're interested in getting exclusive access to
obviously, everyone knows this, but if it was such a good formula, why not just keep fucking betting with it? Why sell it?
George is just the man of the people.
Like anybody can go 0-5.
Yeah, I know.
Sure. Why sell it?
George is just the man of the people, as you'll see tonight, or at 5 p.m. Eastern time here on the channel, the GRP episode of getting breakfast. Enough meandering, enough nonsense here. We're here for a show, even though I love talking GRP. We have Kirk Evans coming on. Big day in the WNBA last night. Big day tonight in the WNBA, and we're going to be talking some NBA futures. So if you're interested in that stuff, one in the chat, like the video, and then also ask some questions in the chat. Kirk's always here to answer questions. So let's bring him up right now. He's a seasoned basketball bettor. You've seen him on Circle Back, and right now, I think he's on the Hammer hot seat as most likely employee to get fired. Kirk, how's it going? How do you feel? Is it a little hot right there? Or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm worried. The beak's really coming after me, so hopefully I can keep my job at the Hammer. This might be my last time on Hammer Daily.
This might be our last show, and we're gonna have to replace you with Jacob in that chair over there instead. Like, we need you to step up here, okay? Okay. How did your WNBA? Oh my God, go last night. Good day for you.
I actually won both sides. Thankfully, I literally had lost maybe 40 straight WNBA sides, so it feels nice to win a couple.
All right, are you excited about both those series going to 3 games? Is that something that's interesting to you or not really?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was more interested in winning my bets, so that's really what mattered. But I also have some Seattle series, so
okay.
I definitely, it was just a good night.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
All right, we live to see another day. We'll talk WNBA on the last half of this little segment with you here. Let's start off with the NBA. You have a couple futures that you like and you want to discuss. I'm going to put you on the spot for a couple other things, but let's start with what you like and what you sent to me. Cavs to win, basically, is what you're telling me. And I text you. I said, no, not again. So give me the breakdown on why you like the Cavs so much. Right now, to win the East, they're plus 220. To win the NBA, to win the finals, plus 650, it looks like. Give me a breakdown on why you're so high on the Cavs first market right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cavs probably will be my biggest future bet I've ever made on any single team. So I feel really good about it.
That went really well for the last Hammer creator to do that, by the way.
Well, also, to be fair, I was also very big on the Cavs last year. So I was with Flup there. I just was maybe a little less public about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the market is pretty drunk on what the Cavs are. The team is coming back with everyone from last year other than Ty Jerome. They replaced him with Lonzo Ball, who's maybe slightly worse player, but still a really solid player. They're a little injured to come into the year, but they should be totally fine by the time things get serious. But I just think the market is totally reacting wrong to what happened last year in the playoffs. The Cavs last year were second best team in the league for most of the year, market rated, maybe a little worse than Boston in the playoffs. And then they lost to Indiana in the playoffs. It seems like the market kind of has thought that meant that they were again, a playoff choke and a team that can't do this. But I just don't see it that way at all. I think that they were injured and then actually playing a team that was much better than was thought at the time. Indiana then went on to beat the Knicks and was very, very close to winning the NBA title. I don't look at that series loss as really any indication that the Cavs are worse than we thought. They ran into injuries at a really rough time. Garland was essentially a zero in the series. Mobley missed some time. Indiana had one of the craziest comebacks in Game 2 that in NBA history, where they were down 9 with maybe a minute left in the game. The Cavs continued to be massive favorites every game in that series, even with their injuries. And now they come into the year with their biggest conference rival, conference challenge in Boston being essentially totally out of it. If the Cavs played the Knicks at home in the conference finals, they would have been around minus 400 in that series. And now they're pretty close to rated even in the market as the Knicks. I don't think those teams are particularly close at all. And then beyond them, there's not really a good challenger. Who are you worried about in the East? Orlando or Atlanta? These teams just aren't very good. The East is so much weaker than it was last year. and the Cavs are just the clear absolute favorite. They should have a pretty easy road to the finals, and then could be favorites over anyone other than OKC. So yeah, Cavs title and Cavs East. I'm betting those at especially East at nearly any number, really.
All right, any number. Wow. All right, I love the confidence in there for you. And like you mentioned, like they're far and away the best team. Celtics obviously way down the board now with the Tatum injury. That's how much basketball I know. But how do you feel about betting these? Like, I mean, it's still like plus money, plus 220. But how do you feel like betting these futures that won't close out until like almost 8 months from now? Or is this just like such a sizable edge for you that you feel so confident that you're willing to lay that kind of like such a large amount this early on in the off season, or I guess this early on in the season? Like it's not going to close for another 8 months. Is that a concern to you at all? How do you normally approach futures like this?
So a few things. I do agree with you that typically I don't love doing that, but I'm hesitant to answer this way, but this is the truth. Like it's not like I really ever have all my bankroll in play. Like I always am kind of looking to put money into any edge possible. Even if like I had a lot of money on Donald Trump to be like after he won the election at like 90% chance, it's like I'm happy to put my money into like essentially these long-term markets because a lot of the time my money's kind of just not doing anything.
Okay.
So if you're tight on bankroll, I do think it's like generally a good thought to not put your money on a plus 220 and wait for very long. But I do think that this is a very sizable edge. But if you have that worry, I would just try finding other legs that you like and parlaying them. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that insight there. Always good to hear that stuff. Last year you gave out a pretty crazy NBA winner. Didn't hit. This is a crazy long number. It was Pistons 300-1. Am I right on that? I think that was
no. It was Pistons 600-1.
600-1 Okay. Obviously didn't win. But do you have anything crazy like that for us here today, or you don't really see that anywhere?
There's nothing I've bet, and I've also, like, yesterday was actually the first day we ran our future sim, so I'm still kind of just getting up and running for the NBA season. Okay. But like, if you're absolutely desperate for a long shot, maybe Grizzlies I don't know what they're at FanDuel. I saw they were like 200-1 in the market.
125-1 at FanDuel.
Like, I wouldn't bet that. I honestly wouldn't bet 200-1. But if there was a team I was looking at where, I think they could be a lot better than the market thinks and maybe add in season, I think they're a pretty good team. I think the market's maybe a little overreacting to the Bane loss. They were really good last year. They got really unlucky. Maybe the new coach unlocked some things. Ja also was a bit worse last year than he's been. I think he could kind of return to form. But like, if you look at the teams Memphis is in there with, like, Memphis is far superior to me than Indiana, Miami, Toronto. They're obviously in a much worse, a much like more difficult conference, but they are much more likely to win the title than, the teams they're surrounded by. But again, I wouldn't bet that. It's really hard, to win the NBA title. I'd probably just try betting maybe their win total or something. But I if you're really asking me for a long shot, that's probably what I would take. Also, if you're looking for a long shot, I don't have anything right now, but I think NBA Cup is a lot more realistic to hit a long shot with that tournament format. Like, it gets hard, you don't really win the title if you're the 12th best team in the league. Detroit was 600-1. I still kind of think that was a pretty good bet, especially with the run Indiana went on. Detroit and Indiana were market rated pretty similar a lot of the year. So I do think it was a reasonable shot, but I think for an NBA title team to win at that long odds, like, you have to have a pretty unique spot.
Yeah.
But Yeah, that's probably the team I'd be looking at. But again, I'm really not recommending that you bet it.
All good. I'm just asking for some homework for you for next week. Then when you come on the show, maybe you'll have something for us. Let's flip over and talk WNBA here. Right before you jumped on, the Liberty seems like they wicked up a little bit. I think they were around like minus 180-ish. Or 140 even earlier today, and they've jumped all the way up to minus 200 here on FanDuel. 4.5 points favorites for the Liberty. Break down the game for us here, who you like, and if you have any props for us or any sides you're leaning towards, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just getting out my FanDuel to see what a couple lines are at, but yeah. So the lines move so much because seemed like Brianna Stewart was super likely to miss, and now it seems like she's going to go.
Okay.
I think 4.5 is actually pretty fair for what we have in the market right now. Like with the knowledge of Stewie probably playing, we don't know how limited she's going to be. She said she had an MCL sprain. I'm a bit surprised that she's playing here with an MCL sprain. I know it's a 3-game series, so you lose this game, you're going to Phoenix with your life on the line. So it makes sense, but I could see her absolutely being hobbled. I could even see her not playing here, despite her saying she intends to at a shoot around. So I don't have anything for the side. If I were to bet anything here, I do like Emma Meeseman unders. I think Stewie's more likely to play than not. And even if she doesn't, at practice yesterday, I believe it was Kennedy Burke who practiced with the starters and not Emma Meeseman. So I think that even with that downside, her lines are kind of fair with Stewie out. Maybe they would tick up, but I probably would bet the unders because I think the market thinks she's going to start, and I don't think she's going to start even if Stewie doesn't play. But it looks like Stewie's going to play. If they're playing her, I imagine she's going to get a lot of run. I think Meeseman's probably going to play 18 minutes, and her lines are set definitely for higher than that.
Okay, maybe if maybe you take some correlation there, take some Meeseman's unders and Stewie overs across the board.
No, I would not. Okay, I wouldn't recommend. Well, I don't think Stewie actually even. Oh, she does have lines up. Yeah. I don't hate that, but I imagine they'll probably price that correlation. But I think you have a lot of outs. I would honestly rather just parlay Meeseman unders with each other than with Stewie overs. I haven't looked at the Stewie overs. I'm seeing they've now posted her at 15.5 points, minus 118 to the over. Look, that's obviously pricing in some injury.
Yep.
I would need to think a little more about that before I recommend a play there. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I would recommend watching it. It's one of those spots where, even watching warm-ups, seeing how Stewie's moving. I remember Anthony Davis against Phoenix, I believe 2020. He was injured. It seemed like he was going to be out. Then he was announced to be playing, but in warm-ups, he barely could move. So if you could have gotten those unders after you've seen that, they were massively plus EV, even taking Phoenix in that game and Phoenix in this game, if you see her in warm-ups or really early in the game really struggling. I am a bit skeptical that they would play her if she was completely laboring out there. So we'll see. But yeah, it's a very interesting betting spot here and one of those games you really want to be locked into.
All right, lock in and watch that game. Game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Let's flip over to the late game here. Minnesota Lynx at Golden State. Valkyries, Lynx on the road, massive favorites, minus 650 on the money line, 10-point spread here, minus 114 towards the Lynx. Any interesting sides in this game? Give me your opinion on this game and if the Lynx can close out this series here.
I don't have a side here. If you forced me to bet it, I probably would bet the Valkyrie. Okay. They got absolutely stomped in game one. They might just not have the juice, like all year they've been way overperforming versus their team talent. And also this game actually isn't in the Valkyrie home stadium. I think Dua Lipa is playing a concert there. So they're playing like what I've heard is like 90 minutes with traffic. Outside of like their normal stadium. That being said, they have an insane fan base, so I imagine the home court will still be there. But I actually haven't bet anything on this game. I think it's relatively fair. I'm a little scared to bet the Valkyrie with just how bad they got beat and how much of a talent disadvantage they have. But the WNBA sides have just not really been pricing zigzag as much as you think. And this is the first year of like a 1-1-1, where it used to be that in a 3-game series, Minnesota, in this example, the home team would play 2 home games, and then it would go to the road game. But now it's home, road, home. And that zigzag just hasn't been priced in as much as it would be, for example, in the NBA. So I did bet Seattle and Indy yesterday because of that.
Okay.
But that being said, the Valkyries lost by 30 and it wasn't competitive at all. So I think they're just really outmatched. But yeah, if I had to take a side, it would be the Valkyrie. And I don't really have much props. On FanDuel, Collier, most points scored at -140 seems decent to me, but I haven't bet it. It's not like anything crazy.
Okay, cool. I'm going to play a quick game with you. I'm going to say a number, and you're going to tell me if you're going to click or not on the Valkyries. Plus 550. Click or no click?
Plus 550. What's the market at?
440 right now. I don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah, click. Okay, there we go. So if
I would click plus 550.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought so. I'm just wondering where you're kind of how far out you need to go to click there. A couple questions in the chat before I let you go. Someone's asking, I believe it was Holt in the chat, how does Stewie injury affect their title probability? Did you see any movement on their championship odds? I assume there was some. How do you feel like it's going to affect it if this is an injury that's going to be lingering for her throughout the playoffs?
Yeah, so I think the angle absolutely would be to bet on the Liberty title right now. Like, okay. The market shifted a ton after the injury, and like there was a chance that I said after the game that I thought the most likely scenario was that Stewie doesn't play for the rest of the playoffs, and now she's going to play tonight. Yeah. So, or seemingly going to play tonight. So again, I would maybe wait and see it, like once she's ruled in, and if she seems to be moving well, it could be a nice opportunity to take them at a plus 350. I think it has steamed back slightly from what I saw. Okay. But I think at this point, I would say that the Liberty are the second most likely team to win the title, and they're priced tied to Vegas. Vegas lost last night. Vegas lose one more game. They could be out, but it's definitely a harder road for the Liberty than it is for Vegas. But the Liberty have a reasonable chance to be the best team in the WNBA. Like they were thought to be the best team for a lot of the year. They really struggled late. They looked awesome last game. So yeah, I think if Stewie's healthy, it could be worth a shot to take Liberty title.
All right, game is on 10 p.m. Eastern time. Keep that FanDuel account open. Click that plus 350, and if you feel like she's going to be in, we're going to be clicking away. It's going to be a race to the button there. Kirk, appreciate you coming on. Don't let the beat get to you. I wouldn't have you fired. Listen, I'm putting in a good word for you. Even though you shot on the Packers, you shot on my Bears, and you love the Minnesota Vikings, I'm okay with that. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. It's part of the Hammer Betting Network. Hey, I'm here, right? If it wasn't okay to be wrong, I don't think I would be here. So, anyways, Kirk, I appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Talk soon.
All right, see you, Kirk Evans. That was a great show today, guys. We love that stuff. If you got some good information there from Kirk, I feel like I did. I know what I'm going to be doing at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, respectively.
Very valuable.
Yeah. Also, I think I messed that up. The Liberty game is the first game, 8 o'clock. So you're going to want to be locked in on the phone. So, yeah, I'm going to beat. Hopefully, I'll beat all you guys to the punch there. One in the chat if you enjoyed Kirk's session. One in the chat if you enjoyed So Money's session. One in the chat if you enjoyed Mr. Peanut Bettor's block. And then one in the chat if you enjoyed the whole damn show. People always ask, hey, I already smashed the like button. What can I do? I can't unclick it and then click it. No. What you can do is just drop a 1 in the chat. That goes a long way for us here on the channel. If you haven't already pressed the like button, make sure you do so. And I hope that I've earned the like button if you've been here the whole time because, we put a lot of work into this show. And we appreciate the audience and you guys watching it. Yeah, it takes 2 seconds. So if you want to do it, do that as well. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell because guess what? At 5 p.m. Eastern, later today, GRP is going to be live talking about some breakfast here on GRP Gone Wild episode 4. Let's bring up what do we have for the Hammer looking forward? We have Life of a Capper over on the Circles Off YouTube channel. Great little series that we did. We recorded over in Vegas. Think of it
right after this ends.
Yeah, right after this ends, 1 p.m. Eastern time. You're probably going to want to head over there right when we head out. Then, of course, like I mentioned, the GRP Gone Wild episode at 5 p.m. Eastern. Then tomorrow night, don't forget this. Even though it's with George and Alex, I'll be there. Don't worry. We have our watch along Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, of the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins game. If you want to watch a tortured Dolphins fan get absolutely spanked by the Buffalo Bills, you're going to want to be there. Then tomorrow for the show, for the Hammer Daily, we're live at noon Eastern, as we always are. China Maniac's going to be on. The great Jeff Nadeau, the big man on campus, and then Hitman will be coming on as well. We have a great show lined up for you tomorrow. Great show lined up for you for the entire week. So again, one more time before we head out, do me a big favor. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're very close to, I think, is it 4,000 subscribers? We're very close.
We're getting close.
Getting close there.
Help us get there, everyone.
Do us a big favor.
Makes a big difference for the channel.
Someone's also asking in the chat quickly before we out, how do I get in for some GRP commentary? We do it through the Discord. Discord.gg/Hammer. Go click that link. You can get in on the conversation there. We'll probably be having it under the Circles Off banner. So, yeah, it'll be good stuff. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jacob, if you're good to go, I think I'm good to go too. We'll talk soon, guys. See you tomorrow.